Zoo Trip, written by Kerry Bateman, illustrated by Tim Bateman. The day had finally arrived. That day was finally here. Mrs. Northern's class was going on a field trip they'd waited for all year. Her class was so excited that they did not know what to do, because today was the day that they finally got to go to the zoo. A big yellow school bus pulled into the school bus lane. As the kids climbed on, Miss Northern checked off their names. Amon, Anna, Grace, Eden, Connor, Bridget, and Haley all sat with their friends. Hannah, Anna, Claire, Jose, Ami, Jude, and Jacob all wore big grins. Etienne, Alessandra, Benjamin, Calix, Liam, and Audrey took a seat in the back. Andrew, Camille, Alova, Sho, Christopher, and Elliot were wearing their school backpacks. When they got to the zoo, they were met by a man wearing a zookeeper's uniform, and he shook Miss Northern's hand. "My name is Mr. Humdiddy, and I'm in charge of this zoo. Please listen to me. I'll tell you what you need to do." Mr. Humdiddy went through the rules, but he seemed kind of grumpy when he said, "Don't be horsing around with the horses or monkeying around with the monkeys." "Don't worry," said Mrs. Northern. "These children will act as they should. This is the best class ever. They will all be so good." The sun was shining brightly, the weather was so pretty, and Mrs. Northern's class was learning so much listening to Mr. Humdiddy. He told them about tigers and why they have those stripes. He told them about elephants and why bats don't sleep at night. He talked about the bears, the elephants, lions, and camels. Mr. Humdiddy knew everything about all the zoo animals. Now, way in the back of the zoo, partly hidden from view, was an old wishing well surrounded by stones of blue. Mr. Humdiddy said, "Throw in a blue stone and wake up the fishes, 'cause this old wishing well grants one in every million wishes." "May I make a wish?" a little girl said. "Sure," replied Mr. Humdiddy. "You just go right ahead." He handed her a blue stone. She looked at it and grinned. "I wish I could fly," she said, as she threw the blue stone in. Soon all of the children in Miss Northern's class were making their own wishes and making them fast. One boy wished to be a famous baseball player, while someone else wished that they could wrestle alligators. One girl wished to be in the school play, and someone wished to live on the moon one day. But nothing at all happened except for disturbing the fish, because no one had yet made that 1,000,000th wish. For almost an hour, they made wishes and tossed in blue stones until Mrs. Northern said, "Attention, class, it's time to move on. Making 1,000,000 wishes takes way too long to do, so let's get back on the bus so we can all get back to school." But as Mrs. Northern's class was walking away, someone tossed a blue stone in the well and was overheard to say, "I wish we could all stay here forever and never have to go away." Mrs. Northern laughed and said, For that wish to come true, you would all need to be animals to stay forever at the zoo. As that blue stone hit the water and slowly sank to the bottom, all the children in Miss Northern's class sighed. Yeah, that would be awesome. Then all of a sudden, the fish started flapping, and the strangest thing you've ever seen quickly began to happen. That last wish just wished had somehow come true. The children had all changed into monkeys, so now they could stay at the zoo. "Oh no," said Mrs. Northern. "I don't believe what I see. All my kids have changed into monkeys right here in front of me." "Well, bust my buttons," said Mr. Humdiddy as he scratched his chin. "I didn't think that old wishing well would ever work again." "What am I going to do?" said Mrs. Northern. "This is a horrible mess. I can't take the children back to their parents with them looking like this." Mr. Humdiddy thought for a minute. Then he said, "I know what to do. They wish to stay here forever, so let's just leave them here at the zoo." Mrs. Northern said, "I am not going to leave my class at the zoo, and that's all there is to it. I'm going to make 1,000,000 more wishes to get them back, and you're going to help me do it." Mrs. Northern started making wishes, tossing stones and counting to herself. Mr. Humdiddy was there too, but he really wasn't very much help. He would wish for a while, then he would drift off for a snooze, because he had a bunch of new monkeys that he didn't want to lose. Still, Mrs. Northern kept on wishing until way past dark. She had lost count of her wishes when she made this remark. "I wish these monkeys would settle down and stop making so much noise while I'm trying to wish them back to my little girls and little boys." Just then, all the monkeys got quiet, and they all settled down. "Oh no, was that the 1,000,000th wish?" she said, as she threw blue stones to the ground. Mrs. Northern was so tired and so flustered by then that she closed her eyes and shouted, "I wish this nightmare would end." When Mrs. Northern opened her eyes, she looked all around. She wasn't at the zoo, but in her own bed she found. And the monkey sounds she heard, ringing in her head, turned out to be her alarm clock, telling her to get up out of bed. "I'd better hurry," she said, "and get myself dressed for school, because today is the day that we go to the zoo." Mrs. Northern laughed to herself as she thought of the monkey ordeal. "What a strange dream," she said, "and it all seems so real." She even laughed out loud when she thought of monkeys sitting in their desk. Monkeys at school? Now that would be one hot mess. But Mrs. Northern stopped laughing as she was putting on her shoe, because way down in the bottom she found a little stone that was blue.